Okay, hello. We're doing Supertramp. It's raining again. This is completely like I just did this afternoon. Basically, when I got back from work, I'd gone to work to try and get some stuff done before it started raining, and just as I got done, I was coming home. It started raining, and I got home. I'm like, I come in, I have a cup of tea. I was like, you know what I'll do? I'll just For whatever reason, I was just thinking of this song. It's raining again. I'm like, it's raining again. Da, da, da. Anyway, so I put it on and I started watching this particular music video. And this is probably the reason why I decided to do some number jumps with it as well, and really kind of start decoding this. All right, so we're going to link this back with Back to the Future, and in particular the Blast from the Past store, and you'll see why as we go through it. If you're not familiar with Back to the Future 2 and all the little bits and pieces that are in the background, as they arrive there in the future, there's a whole, let's just go through it, but there's a whole bunch of little bits and pieces I'm going to reference back to. I don't know if we'll have time to really go and dig each piece out, in Back to the Future. So I'm hoping that a lot of you are familiar with that particular scene. Okay, the reason why that scene is so important is because of the hoverboard chase. Yeah, the hoverboard is the Hoover reference. Hover and Hoover. It's the Hoover Dam reference. This is why they've got a great big pond in front of the clock tower. Yeah, the clock tower is the Hoover Dam essentially. Yeah, there's 4 pillars on it, just like at the Hoover Dam. They've got 4 inlet towers, 2 on one side, 2 on the other. Okay, they've even got some clocks there. Okay, so anyway, I guess let's just get on with it. Come on. So this is the start of it. This little red Coca-Cola sign kind of reminded me of the red bell on the when Doc phones Marty just after he's blown up the speaker, the amplifier right at the start of Back to the Future. This kind of reminded me of that as we're coming into this shot here. I just have to play a little bit and then pause. So this is the start of it. So what I want you to do is focus in right here with this antiques, and then note the color of this store here. Okay, it's not actually a store. What it actually is a cafe. So, but look at the color of it, look at the idea of antiques, and then note that this is a diner, right? Because in Back to the Future, which one do I want up here? I've got a whole bunch of them so we can see. Yeah, Marty's walking across from this direction as well, just as in Supertramp. We're walking in from this direction. Okay, they've even, this is how much detail I think has gone into setting up these things with the similarities that need to be there. I don't know. Anyway, look at the color here. This is essentially an antique shop right here. Okay, antiques. This is the Cafe 80s. Okay, next door. So we've got this right here. This is, as soon as I saw this in the video, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is just mental. Anyway, comes across the character is a young guy, so kind of reminiscent of Marty again, coming across the street here. And there's a whole bunch of other bits and pieces that we could put into this, we could talk about, but I want to actually rattle through this because there's a ton to get through. See, cafe, okay. Anyway, this is the dude that's in it, the young guy. Okay, note the barber pole here as well. This is pretty nice with our Mayday reference with the maypole. So 5-1 is the twin date for 9-1. Okay, so if you're new here, not only are we looking at the idea of Madonna maybe going off to David Bowie Island before maybe that something happens at the Hoover Dam, and so 9-1 it's got this kind of connection with the Hoover Dam, or maybe even the start of World War III or something, you know. And we're looking at 8:30 for Madonna potentially to Crocon. Okay. So anyway, so this is the diner. Anyway, probably a good idea just to go watch this before doing this. But he's going to be getting a Dear John letter here, and he's basically now going to go and he's going to be upset, and he's going to go and after his woman. Now, this is the next part. While he's in there, he's getting this ticket from this female cop, and I'm like, yeah, I got to this point, I'm going absolutely crazy. I'm like, oh my goodness, really? I think, where do we want this now? Hang on, no. Oh, got it up here. Look at this. Got it up here. That's the wrong one. Come on. Where? Hang on a minute. I did have it up here, I thought. That's this one. I got to come back to this point. I'll probably forget. Let me show you. Now, where is it? Come on. Okay, so here we go. Oh, this is what we want. Hang on. Well, it's right at the start of it, is it? There, right here. The female cops. Okay, they're going to take Jennifer home. The young Jennifer back to old Jennifer's home. Okay, so this female cop reference, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, where's that one gone now? Yeah, hang on a minute, this is just absolutely mental, absolutely crazy. Okay, so we're setting up for this, you know, this alleyway here, and we've got the Blast from the Past going on. Well, let's keep going through this song, okay? Anyway, he's going to go chase after her. Well, before he goes chasing after her, he goes to this drive-in to watch a movie. He ends, well, this we'll see later on, actually ends up happening again, okay? At the end of the video. It's easier if you just go watch it, really, than me trying to explain what's going on in a 4-minute video. You might as well just go watch it, and then you'll know what's happening. Anyway, we'll get to this point. I need to come back to this point as well. Interesting with where we're at in the video 109, because right at this point, this little girl, actually we might need to be here, she's going to laugh because his wheel's been stolen. Everything's going wrong. Now check this out, right? So I think we'll jump onto this part of the decode before we go back to the Blast in the Past stuff, okay? Check this out. Okay, so straight away, this reference here, yeah, with Jaws 007 bad guy, okay, out of James Bond. So I'm like, well, I gotta go look him up now, because this is just so nuts right here, right? Let me show you something. Before we get onto all this other stuff here, oh, we're just gonna be all over the place. Do apologise, but this might get you really excited straight away. So here we go. This is who plays Jaws in the James Bond films. Okay, here's his Richard Keel. September the 13th, 39. So I'm like, wow, okay, we've already got a time. You know, this is what, 12 days after the start of World War II. So that's kind of interesting. And then we've also got the 9/1 numerology. We've also got the September the 10th, which ties back into Rocco Ritchie's father. And so, you know, interesting numbers. We've got the, you know, 9/1 numerology, just absolutely mental. So I'm like, well, we better just do some number jumps for him. Okay, so I did his birthday through to 91. Okay, pi. Okay, pi. Which is not surprising because, of course, our, from the 1st of September 1939 through to this is our palindromic 31413 number jump. Okay, so this just works out that he's still hitting the pi numbers here as well. So this is really fascinating with this reference to Jaws and this date coming up. Okay, our 86 years, 1 day, or just 86 years, however you want to count numbers, from the start of World War II through to this day. Nothing particularly special about an 86-year jump in that respect, other than you'll hear people talk about the 86 code with wars. Okay, I mean, I think I've heard Cody mention it, and there's I can't remember the name of the other channel though that's got a whole bunch of stuff on that. Oh well, anyway, don't matter. But what is interesting about the idea of a palindromic number jump from the start of World War II to this day is the fact that, it's a mirror pi. 19 or 91 is also to 91, creates a, 9 is a P, 1 is an I, so we have this pi reference, okay, that makes it a lot more interesting, this idea of balance with a mirror. Anyway, check out his death date through to Madonna's potential death date now. Okay, 4007, and it's just like, how many 47s have we had with the silver references? And it's basically all just tons of 2724 numbers. I keep 2724. It's going to show up in this decode as well with Madonna. Yeah, these are Lucas numbers, right? And independence, yeah, this idea of becoming independent, yeah, independent from the Matrix on this date, yeah. And this would have been, this ties in with Guy Ritchie's birthday, the White Wedding to Guy Ritchie. Okay, was there anything interesting with this? I can't remember. Oh, 553 prime. Yeah, marginally interesting. That might be one that drops down again. Not really. Okay, anyway. So that was just crazy. Okay. So there's reference to Jaws in there. And I guess we'll just keep going through here. And we'll kind of go through this first. So he's going to leave on a Greyhound bus. The Greyhound, yeah. And he's going to the big city, basically, to catch up with his woman who has left. We get a picture there. We've got some of the band members doing stuff. This was interesting on the bus. This plane hits this in the head. Okay. You could look at that as several different references, 9/11 references. It could also be a reference to the, let's not even worry about it, but this could also be a Madonna reference here with this sort of blonde craziness going on. This guy does kind of remind me of this vest on with Sean Penn, actually, a little bit there. Okay, the 15, the 105 days, 9/11 to Christmas, dropped off. So, and they actually Rambo and all that lot were talking about the references with hot dogs, and of course the Greyhound. We can get back to the Gray's Almanac and Gray's, I think it's Gray's Papaya or something. In Fools Rush In with the hot dog references. So all going back to Sirius, right? But we're not going to get into that. There is a number on this bus as well, which I couldn't really make out. It's the video itself is the resolution was so bad. I just couldn't be bothered with trying to figure it out. This was interesting. This gal stood here with this 7135 in here. I'm not quite sure why that's reversed, whether it's to do with the way this guy uploaded this video or what. But anyway, we do have a 735 number coming up here in the number jumps, I think. Worth just mentioning. Anyway, he gets kicked out from his lift. He's not got no money, but he ends up in this alleyway, okay, which I thought was, again, very interesting with this idea of this alleyway. You know, when they show up, when Marty and Doc initially show up here, we'll go back through this in a second. When they initially show up, it's raining. Yeah, this is, and you know, part of this connection to this scene is the fact that when they first show up, it's raining again. Okay. Anyway, we'll come back to that in a minute. But they're in this alleyway, right? And he's going to get beaten up in the alleyway, and all his stuff's going to get stolen. So he essentially ends up, I mean, obviously they're not going to completely strip him down naked, but he's essentially in his birthday suit. You know, this idea of death here, and then the idea of resurrection here, and what's getting passed to him, the umbrella, a fresh umbrella, and it's essentially a red umbrella. It starts raining again, so this idea of washing away baptism and all this kind of stuff, and you know, the deluge. And anyway, he's gonna, you know, in all these black umbrellas, he's gonna meet up with his other half here. But anyway, I was like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna have to go look up a few umbrella references and Singing in the Rain and all this other stuff, and just see if there's any other connections here. Again, look at the red flowers here, the moon, the sun. Yeah, okay. The living man, yeah, the red. That also reminded me of V for Vendetta with this, and then when what's her face, Evie comes out, and V brings her up onto the top of the wherever they're living at, and she has this kind of, oh, I don't know what you call it, moment in the rain. Okay, a sort of the finalization of the rebirth. And there it is, back at the film, on the, you know, shown on the big screen there. So that's the references back to the you know, that scene in Back to the Future 2, the blast from the past store sort of alleyway there. Now I want to go through a few more bits and pieces with that, and you know, we're going to do some number jumps as well. So before we get off of this, there was a couple of things that I just wanted to mention about it. Obviously, yeah, it's raining again when they get there. The cop thing. What was the other thing? Oh, this is what I want to mention. Yeah, if you look behind Marty here, also this is interesting. What Doc does, he sheds his skin. Okay, yeah, a reset. And what's interesting about the idea of I don't know, the idea of a birthday reference, the idea of shedding the skin is, you know, the end of a cycle, the start of a new cycle. The reason why that's interesting is we'll get on to Doc's birthday and the release of the song in just 1 second. Before I do that, though, I wanted to show you this. Right here in this alleyway. Well, I'm just not seeing the bit that I wanted. Here we go. See these discs all bundled up? See these discs, right? This connects us back with part 1, and if we just move on, you probably saw it in the background here just a second ago. That's another reason why I wanted to come to this scene, was just to check that out, because I can remember those discs in it. I was like, right, here it is. What you'll notice on the wall here is the number 16 written here. Okay, so in part 1, I was actually wondering if there might be a 30 somewhere in the background of those discs, to tie in with 8:30. But you'll notice in part 1 all these clocks on 8 here. Okay, you notice this disc on the 8. Yeah, these are all clocks on the 8. And then when we get to this point here, we have the 16 on the wall with all these discs. Yeah, again with these. I can't think that they show up anywhere else in the film. So you can get an 8/16 Madonna's birthday, yet again tying into this location, which is very interesting, the idea that it's opposite the clock tower. Yeah, so in close proximity to the Hoover Dam or the goddess, the temple here, and what you have opposite it is a a corrupted version of that. Okay. Anyway, so I don't think there was anything else I wanted to show you in here. There are some numbers that show up as we're. Oops. Hope that didn't mess anything up. Okay, there are some numbers like the 35, the 38 shows up as Marty Jr. is kind of as Doc is spying on Marty Jr. So, and it's kind of interesting that he kind of looks at the two women that he walks by. And then we have the phone reference as well, which again, it's just a personal reference for me. Obviously, phone and Phoenix connect up, but the phone reference for me is my old childhood home, the telephone number. This is back in the old days because it was 2724, back when we had 4-digit phone numbers still. 2724, and we'll see that show up in this decode again. But she's got, right now, a lot of the numbers we've been looking at with Madonna, a lot of those number jumps, we've seen a lot of 2724 stuff in there. And again, that's Lucas numbers showing up, or referencing back to Lucas numbers. Anyway, let's do some of these number jumps. The release of the album, okay, the 22nd of October 82, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm just like, this is just absolutely crazy. Why? Why is that crazy with that scene? Because the scene in Back to the Future, this scene right here, is set on the 21st of October 2015. And there is a reference to, with the newspaper in this scene, and what happens during the hoverboard chase and afterwards, to changing the future on October the 22nd. That is the date on the newspaper in this scene. So again, it's like, it couldn't tie in much better, Okay, so the release, this date, the October 22nd, is tying in with that scene again. Okay, just note side B, Bonnie. You're probably already thinking in your head. We'll come on to it in just a second about Bonnie. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to look at some number jumps with that. So as I was saying, I got home from work today and I ran the numbers on this as I'm looking at all this stuff, and I'm thinking, oh my, look at this. The date of the release through to today's date, which happens to be 8/27 today. And again, we can, I think a couple of people have mentioned this, maybe Dave in the comments. We can change this, or at least for the last few days, we can change, the October stuff through to August, via the name of the month, yeah, Oc. So 8/27, right at the end of the line, when Marty finally makes the jump home, is on 10/27. Part 3, that's his final leap home, 10/27, which is October, which is, we can translate back to an 8/27. But anyway, just funny that started looking at this today. It just started raining, And this is the whole reason why I'm doing this video, is because it actually physically was raining. Okay, raining again. So this 15651 palindromic number. Is there anything interesting about that number? Not majorly interesting, no. Not without not really. But what is interesting about that number is the fact that it's 156 mirrored. Okay, and if you, well, I think probably most people know this, but 156 connects right back in with 911, 156 prime, and the 119 composite connecting back with that. So it's a very nice tie-in with 911. Got the 203 in here, yada yada yada. Okay. So anyway, I was like, well, you know, kind of as soon as I saw that, and the idea, there's just a ton of palindromic numbers. I mean, palindromic numbers aren't necessarily really rare or anything, but there seems to be a little bit of a, I don't know what you call it, like like a, I don't know what the word is for it. A lot of them happening. There seems to be more than what I'd normally see around this sort of time happening. Anyway, again, we've got the date of the release of the song through to, well, I thought I'd better do, the end of Back to the Future. Okay, here we go. 11:01. Yeah, 3 towers. I mean, it's just, this stuff's just loaded. Look, we've got the 916. We've had a ton of 96 references. I can't remember if there's any more in here or not, actually. We might come across a few 96s in here. I can't remember now. But the last couple of videos, we've had tons of 96 stuff. Okay, and again, this is all tying back in with the same. It's all tying in with Back to the Future. Obviously, Marty's, Michael J. Fox's birthday, 96. So that was obviously important when it shows up. What's this next one? This is through to, I thought I'd better do through to 9-1. There wasn't really anything that interesting about it, actually, apart from the fact that it's 42 years and 314, the pi number again, days. So that, again, kind of interesting there. Now, let's also connect Madonna in with this October 22, 2002. And I know there's people shouting at me about another October 22nd date here in a second, which we'll get on to. I've got a couple other ones. But she released Die Another Day. Yeah, and there's play on words, and also Princess Diana. And, if she goes on 8:30, we'll be on another day, but extremely close to Die's day. Okay. Why don't I just do that? Anyway, October 22nd, 2002. Let's just see how many days from her birthday through to the 10/22 first, and then we'll do how many. Well, actually, we don't need to. We can just figure that out pretty easy because it's 2002. It's a 20-year jump. Okay, which is, again, it's super fascinating with the clock tower. Because the number 20, we were looking at 820 for Madonna, and that number 20 is super duper important with, if you've seen my decode chart, the chart of Lorraine, the window that they're going to crash through in the clock tower in the hoverboard scene is, we can reference back to the number 20 with that. So 20 years is extremely important. It's also important with the idea of Odysseus returning home. That's a 20-year voyage, 10 years off, Trojan War, and then a 10-year voyage back. Okay, so like in that last video, we saw the stuff about Helen and Troy. That's who they go to get. Okay, in the Trojan War. So anyway, and obviously Paris is the one that takes her. Again, this thing with Paris, all the connections back with the the French Connection stuff and Paris. It's just absolutely nuts. Anyway, look at this. Her birthday through to the release of that song. 8833. I just can't. My wife's like tonight, and I'm looking at these numbers. I'm starting. Oh my goodness, look at this one. Oh dear, and she's like, shh, 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 quieten down, calm down now. 883. So we've got our numerology for August the 30th. Okay, and it's kind of nice with the 88 and the 33 in it as well. Oh. I don't know if that's anything interesting. Not really. Okay, it is interesting with the 1-7 composite there as well. With the obviously that's Diana's birthday numbers. Let's go on to the next one. And so that was a 20-year leap as well from her song to the release of Supertramp's song. And I mean, you could be a bit crude and say that Madonna, and that's what the system is the Supertramp. Yeah, you've heard people call women tramps before, when they're kind of slutty. Well, there you go. The Supertramp is the sluttiest of all, is the Matrix. Yeah, so it's a very interesting name, and obviously with Donald Trump right now as well, Super Trump. Oh dear. Her birthday. Now, this next date here, this is our other 1022 tie-in, because again, did I mention this with Doc? Maybe I mentioned that when he was peeling his face off. Maybe I didn't. I can't remember what I said now. That's 1022 38 again. Okay, this is interesting. So this is his birthday. Okay, Christopher Lloyd's birthday. So again, I mean, 38 reference, that would be a nice tie-in back with Christopher Lloyd. This idea when he's in the street there, peeling his face like the start of a new cycle. Yeah, rejuvenation, rebirth. Okay, and we got the 1022 showing up again. So where was we at? Just done that one. 19 years between them. 19 years, 299 days. I don't know if there was anything interesting here. I don't feel like there was. No, not really. But what was interesting about this was the fact that it was the 19 and the 2-9 numerology together. Because remember, we're talking about, with the Hoover Dam, we're talking about 9-1 into 2-9. So this whole thing with some of this Madonna stuff is re-referencing the next event, theoretically. Okay, which is maybe the Hoover Dam on 9-1. And look at the kind of connection there with the Madonna stuff opposite the goddess temple, which is corrupted. The clock's not running, it's dead. Hence the Hoover Dam reference, right? Okay. Let's go on. This is okay. So this is this is the release of the song through to the date in Back to the Future on the newspaper. Yeah, this is the date that they're trying to affect on the 21st. Okay. 33 years. 33 years. Don't forget Back to the Future. 33 is encoded with the number jumps because it's 30 years back to 55 and then 30 years on to 2015. So there's this 33 reference with the number jumps there as well, with the two 30-year jumps. But this is, again, rebirth, death and rebirth. Okay, this is this 7305 number here, which was the 20 years. Okay, for Madonna's Die Another Day, back to that, to Supertramp. Okay, what else we got here? So we did Christopher Lloyd. And Christopher Lloyd's absolutely loaded. I mean, there's another reference to him with Roger Rabbit in the window there, the blast from the past. I mean, it's just, you can really start. Obviously, Addams Family. We have the Uncle Fester stuff, and I mean, yeah, I'm even just thinking like Buckaroo Banzai and all that stuff as well. I mean, he's just in a ton of stuff. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest there with all the references in that. Just loads of stuff. Anyway, what's interesting here is we're going from his birthday through to the song release. Look at this, it's 44 years. Now, if we do another number jump, which is his birthday through to the film Back to the Future date, it's 77. So we've got 44 and 77 referenced with Christopher Lloyd, the Christ Lord, through to through to those two dates, the song and this. Now, and don't forget that he ties back in with Supertramp Part 1, the model that Doc makes. Yeah, it's the rip-off from Breakfast in America, the album cover. Yeah, that's why it's painted white. Okay, and he's got a couple of sauce bottles in there. So that is taken from Supertramp as well. And they've got the saxophone in a couple of spots as well, you'll notice, which is important because we're going to do some number jumps that involves the saxophone connection, okay, which is John, and I'm not really sure how you say his second name, but it's like Helliwell or Halliwell. I don't know if it's one of those ones you pronounce a bit funny. Anyway, Helliwell. We'll look at him in a minute. Okay, well, it's right here. Okay, he's doing the saxophone, and they reference the saxophone a couple of times. It's hanging on the wall there, and it's right there at the start when Marty either I think when he puts down the phone. Okay, there's a saxophone sitting on the table. So this reference back with John Helliwell. Yeah, we'll see anyway in a second. Okay. So we've done that stuff that we don't need. Okay, so I'm just, before we move on with some more other bits and pieces, I just want to reference back to side B. Side B was, remember, was Bonnie. Okay, Bonnie. So anyway, I'm like, I gotta just go check Bonnie Tyler. You know, obviously she's got a load of loaded songs, Total Eclipse of the Heart and all that stuff. She's got the 6/8 birthday, 1951. She's 74 years old now. I'm like, ooh, 74. Tying in with Madonna. You know, let's just see. Let's just do one number jump for her and see. We'll go from her birthday to Madonna's birthday. 26, 26. I'm like, you just can't write this stuff. You know, let's not forget. I've got it in here so you can just remind people. You know, Madonna, 62, 26, okay? So anyway, that was kind of interesting. I'm not going to go on any more about that, but we're just going to do some other connections back in with this as well. So the song is off this album, Famous Last Words. Famous Last Words. The Dear John letter, yeah? Goodbye. Okay, time for a rebirth ritual. And here's the balancing act here, Man on Wire. Now, depending on the context, and depending on what you're balancing between, whether it's something good or something bad. Now look at because you think about, we're going to go to Man on Wire in a minute, where with Philippe Petit, who did the high wire walk between the Twin Towers. That version of Man on Wire is extremely interesting. The concept there of getting balance between the two sides of reality. Take a look at this. You don't see no tower on each side here, do you? All you see is the abyss. What's he actually he's on a tightrope, but he's on the road to nowhere. Okay, this thing's got to end. You know, this is the wrong wire to be on, so to speak, balancing between nothingness. Okay, so it's kind of I don't know. You could probably wangle that how you want to wangle it, but look at this. We've got the 1, 2, 1 numerology again. I don't know how many times showing up with this. Okay. Why have I got this up again? It's raining again. I guess I got it up twice. Anyway, so we're going to look at, with this, we're going to look at some Philippe Petit stuff in just a second, and we're also going to carry on and get all this, the connections with the actual umbrellas and Singing in the Rain and all that stuff. Okay, so I was like, okay, we've definitely got to check Singing in the Rain. Okay, oh, Gene again. Yeah, Genesis, the beginning again. So we just do the number jump for March the 27th, 52. See what it brings us out to today's particular day. Obviously, it's because it's raining. It was raining again today, and this is the palindromic number jump today. We can see that we've got the 26 showing up, the 816 of Madonna's bit. So we've got Madonna with the numerology here for the gematria, and then her birthday numbers in here. Nothing else really much interesting about that, but I just thought, I just randomly was just having a look for, this is literally just click on it and just see what the. So did the same thing. I was going to check I was actually going to check Rihanna's Umbrella song, right? But this just popped up first. I thought, wow, why not? Just click on it. The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. Okay, I look down again. 192 stuff showing up. Okay, again the runtime 91 minutes. Look, Night of the Thunderstorm. Yeah, the 12th of November when Marty gets reborn. Okay, I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. And I just made the mistake of clicking this. Let's just have a look at the first person on the list. 22nd of October 1943. Oh dear. You just can't write it. You just can't write this stuff. Oh dear. I'm like, okay. Right. Do you dare to do another one? Do you dare? Okay. 9-1. Oh my goodness. Okay, hang on a minute. Let's just do another one. Oh, now we're in the 1028 stuff, the 128 stuff that we were on before. 9-6 references. Yeah. It's just like I don't know what to make of it. This is finally get to one that's not really. You got the 311 and that stuff there is kind of interesting, but it's not. But you got you're getting like hits here. Anyway, I've finally got to Umbrella by Rihanna. March 29th, 2007. I put it in, and I'm like, oh, nothing interesting. Click it, and and again, the only thing that I will say that is interesting about that is the 729 that's on the end of there, the white wedding number. But I look down at the composite, and I'm like, oh, look at it, 5/8, 1958, 16th of August. Yeah. I mean, what are the chances that what are the chances that those numbers come up and there ain't like a 3 and a 2 and a something else in there or whatever messing it up? I mean, what are the chances? Anyway, let's go on to the Philippe Petit stuff. So he did the walk on the Twin Towers on August the 7th, 74. But we're not going to look at that one on this one, because I got to thinking, I'm thinking, hang on a minute. He also did Notre Dame. Okay, he did the Twin Towers of Notre Dame, and it was just on my mind because of the similarity with the Twin Towers at Caen Cathedral as well. So I was like, that was still fresh in my mind a little bit, and I was thinking maybe I'll just look at Notre Dame, because obviously Our Lady of Paris, the connection back with, again, Diana, and also Madonna through the Virgin Mary, Our Lady of Paris. Yeah. Okay. And actually, I guess I could have. Well, let's just click on him a second. I can't off the top of my head remember exactly. Oh, the 13th of August he is. Probably should do a number jump between there and see what's coming up for. Anyway, that's, again, Diana numerology there. Anyway, this was the Twin Towers jump through, and I did Rocco Ritchie because, of course, 2001. This is extreme. This is kind of close to that. 9501. So I was like, ooh, yeah, that's kind of interesting with our 91005 day jump from the start of the United States to this 91 date coming up. Okay, so this 951 numerology, extremely interesting. Yeah, so we're looking at him because I'm cutting the tightrope walker. This is Philippe Petit. He was the tightrope walker. So he did the Notre Dame one, 71, pretty interesting with the connection back with Paris, Diana, 71, her birthday. 266 or 626. Yeah, 226 again. Madonna numbers again. Okay, the 26. So we put that number jump in, and lo and behold, this is what I'm talking about with the palindromic stuff. Look at this. From that one, from the Notre Dame through to 91. Oh yeah, 19791. Yeah, I can't remember if there's anything interesting. Again, not really. Not really. But what is really interesting is this number, and to do with the wire. So I guess let's do this while we're doing it, because this is going to be a long video anyway. This is the chart of Lorraine. If you're new here, I don't want to tell you. You probably best go back, and if you're interested in this stuff, try and dig out some videos that reference the chart of Lorraine. Okay. I got some on the Back to the Future. I probably got some labeled up like Back to the Future, Chart of Lorraine, and you can see all the connections in here with Back to the Future. But anyway, if I just draw this in really quick, I draw the clock tower in. I'm not going to explain it. That's the clock tower, and then we've got to have a clock face. Yeah, that's the clock, 10:04, 14 numerology there. And then we can also do, we don't want that, hang on. Go to brushes, and we can put the lightning in. Yeah, stylize that 55. Okay, as lightning hitting the top of the clock tower, it follows the line down the clock tower. Look what it goes through, 911. But better than that, as it goes over, look what we've got down this side of the clock tower, 197. 197. Absolutely mental, and we've got all the pi number, the fire trails make the pi symbol. We've got pi here. We've got this technically should be a 9 here when we deal with the Fibonacci cycle. So we've got the Western Auto sign on the side of the building here. We've got the 11 fire trails here making the 911. We've got 5-1 here, which is the barber pole reference to May Day, and May Day is the twin date for 9-1. Okay. So there's a lot of stuff, a ton of stuff that connects back with this. Okay, but look, 197. Okay, 197 is right there. 197 with the tightrope walker, the wire. Yeah, this is the wire that's running down here, down in front of the clock tower here, and it runs this way as well. 197. Mental, absolutely mental. Let's move on. I just happened to stumble across this while I was on Supertramp. I just happened to stumble across School. This song. It's on Crime of the Century, on that album. The release date of that is October the 25th, 74. It's released on the album. October the 25th, 74. October the 25th is when Back to the Future starts. Okay, that's the day that is the start of Back to the Future. Yeah, and we're also getting our 825 again. Yeah, just as they reference at the start of Back to the Future. I don't know how many times we've looked at 825. Let me see if this thing all right. Yeah, so this October becomes an 8, and the clocks are on 8:25. Marty's late for school. Okay, crime of the century. It was the crime of the century, and we're getting ready. I think we're getting ready for another crime of the century. Okay. I guess we're in this century now, though, so there's be 2 crimes in 1 century. Oh dear. Oh well, whatever. But the 825, yeah. So October converting over to the 825 again. So anyway, I did that. I thought I better just check that through to Back to the Future day. Oh, here we go. 111 again. 11 years, 1 day this time instead of the 1101 we were seeing earlier. What was the 1101 earlier? It was the release of what am I thinking now? I've gone completely blank. Sure, I got a brain problem. It's raining again, and the I've got a brain problem. I'm mental. And when Marty makes the final jump home, come on, Dan, get a grip, mate. Get a dang grip. Okay. So that was the 111 earlier. Can't remember what we got to here now. Right here. Was there anything else interesting with this? Oh, the numerology right here is interesting. Because again, when you do that number jump from the beginning of the United States, you get through to 91, you get 91005 days. Okay, inclusive of the end date. If you don't include the end date, you're getting this. Okay, hope I'm getting that right. So this is super duper interesting. Okay, what we got? Oh, 555 prime. That's pretty nice, isn't it? Okay. Anyway, let's get on to John Helliwell. He's got 15th of Feb birthday, 1945. I'm like, ooh, this could be interesting with the war, because of course the war, 1939 through to 1945. And don't forget, this won't write on here very good. We go from 9/1, yeah, 39, through to 9/2, 45. So you're seeing these numbers, being repeated. Yeah, maybe with the midnight hour thing. History does repeat, doesn't it? We're always getting told that. We're always getting told that. Is that a truth drop that we're going to see something repeat? I don't know. What was the 39? I felt like there was a jump in here that was 39 years. I can't remember what it was. It was between. I don't know what it was between, but there was I think there was a 39-year jump. It might have been like the Bonnie Tyler thing. I don't know if I figured that one out or not. Where was Bonnie Tyler at? Can't remember now. Christopher Lloyd, Jim Keel, Bonnie Tyler. 10th of June. I feel like there was a 39. I can't remember what it was. I feel like it's actually between. It was between like one of the 20. Maybe I think maybe it was between this. Gosh, Dan, it was maybe between this. What was her? 40. She was 43 through to 82. That ought to be 39. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting. 39 year. Okay. Anyway, getting to this is the problem. I sidetrack way too easily. So we did his birthday through to I thought better do Rocco 20266. Okay. I thought better do 9/11 because of all the stuff on Breakfast in America as well. Oh, well, we'll get onto that in a minute. Well, this is 9/2, the end of the war. Okay, 199 again, 11th Lucas number, and also, so obviously connected back with 11s, and also the 1/9 numerology, and then 6 months, 18 days, yada yada yada. This was to the beginning of the war, back to the beginning of the war, 1995 again. I mean, what do you say? 5 years, 168 days. Okay, just fascinating. This was his birthday through to 9/11. Yeah, 20662. Obviously, it's going to be close on the 20 with Rocco Ritchie, but look at the we got a 22 and a 66 in there. Yeah, 2266 with Rocco. It's just fascinating. Essentially Rocco's birth is the reference of 9/11 because you've been born into the matrix at this point. Okay, an unbalanced system. Right, what we've got? His birthday, I thought better do through to Madonna's potential death date. Nothing majorly interesting apart from 197 showing up on the tail end of here. So I don't think there was anything interesting with this. Oh yes, there was. Take it back. Oh, you just got. Look, here we go. 26. Look, this is the 26220 composite. Okay. Oh my goodness. Blimey hell. You can imagine how much stuff I miss out of these things. So, this one's interesting, right? So this is going to be our final sort of tie-in now, back to Blast from the Past again. His birthday through to Madonna's 4930. Not that interesting, really. Got the 182 and blah blah blah. 13. I come down here. Composite 4272. Okay, this is 4272. We just had 2724 in our previous decode to do with Blast from the Past. Let me show you this. Okay, and blah blah blah. This is the star of that film, Blast from the Past, that we connected back with the store, Brendan Fraser. Okay, his birthday through to Madonna's potential crow kit 20724. So it's just reversed. We got the 0 in there. That one have the 0 in it? Yeah, it had a 0 in it, didn't it? Oh, I can't even remember now. Oh no, it didn't. Okay. So it's just reversed the other way around. I thought that was just kind of interesting again. Blast from the Past. All this stuff with the Blast from the Past. Yeah, the Blast from the Past. The film. Yeah. Walking across the road here to this. antiques. I mean, just absolutely mental. Okay, that was it. Here's your other. Finally, here is your final October the 22nd date that I go on about quite a bit. This train crash, the steam train going over the cliff in Back to the Future. This reference back to this train crash. I'm not going into it now, but okay. You could probably do some number jumps between how many years it is between all those things and probably find something interesting. You almost would want to find a 131 year number jump, wouldn't you? Oh dear, let me just put it in, see where it comes out at. 1895 plus 131. Oh, that'd be next year, 2026. Oh dear. Will we wait until next year? I don't know. Got a lot of 26 stuff. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to call it quits there. That's it. What a decode that was, man! Oh man. I can't think there's anything else I want to mention about it really. Just absolutely crazy. Alright, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on another one, and I'll tell you one more little tidbit. 22nd October is my sister's birthday. Okay. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Alright. Ciao for now. Right. Bye.